Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. This is going to be an RU battle, and my opponent for this battle is going to be Khaz. As you can see, this is going to be, I'm going to use the same team that I used in the other RU battle that I had with Traveling Go-Go. Because I kind of like the team that I have. Like, I don't even know if it's a good team or not, but I do like the Pokemon in the team. Especially the Hoopa Confined. Because, I mean, I don't know, I just like how they look. But I'm trying to see if I can make the team work and whatnot. The team itself has been kind of hit and miss. Like, there's times when the battle comes off as way too one-dimensional, and then there's times when I kind of can't make the team work. So it's kind of hard to tell if it's a good team or not. My opponent, though, his team is a little bit, yeah, it's scary because he has Flygon, he has Necrozma, he has Mandibuzz, which, by the way, I did not even know it wasn't RU in all honesty. He has Vanillux, he has Feraligatr, and he has Snorlax. All of his mons, with the exception of Mandibuzz and Vanillux, all of his mons pretty much are built to set up, it seems. Just because Necrozma can set up Calm Minds or Iron Defenses and just store power the hell out of my entire team. Dragonite, or not Dragonite, Flygon can do the same thing with Dragon Dances, and Silken Feraligatr. Snorlax, oh my goodness. Now, Snorlax is probably the worst of them all. And you know what's annoying about RU so far? Is that a lot of teams use freaking Snorlax in it. And Snorlax is one of those freaking unbreakable mons that also sets up and sweeps you basically via cursing a lot. And just being super fat to take out in one hit. And the fact that it has recovery in the form of rest. And it's really, really hard to take out a Snorlax within 2 turns when it's built to be fat basically and take hits, and especially after it's already set up curses, because its SPDEF is really ridiculously good actually. So we're actually gonna see if we can actually handle a Snorlax or a team with Snorlax in it with this team. It can kind of maybe give me an idea if this team is good or not. So usually, because this team I made it myself, this is why I'm wondering if it's good or not, because I remember that I say that I've always been not that great when it comes to team building, so I want to see if I'm actually good or not, or at least decent enough to make a respectable looking team. So yeah, so here we go. He's gonna lead off with Flygon. I'm gonna lead off with Golisopod. I wanted to go for the first impression right here, but I didn't think that was a good idea, so I decided instead just go for Leech Life. Flygons don't typically one-shot Golisopod or nor put it in what's it called, emergency exit range, unless they're banded. So I decided to just go for Leech Life. And he switches into Mandibuzz, which is good for me because honestly that's the mon that I really want to get out of the way as soon as possible. Because of it, I hard switch into Goodra because I know I can't 2-hit KO this thing. So what I do here, he goes for Taunt, which is fine with me, because what I'm going to do with this Goodra is just go for Thunderbolt. And he stays in, thankfully, because now I get to easily take this out. And now Khaz is going to send out the Necrozma. Now this thing is what I'm particularly afraid of, because if this thing sets up in my face, it could be all over. So what I'm going to do is hard switching the Golisopod yet again. If this is a Calm Mining set, what I can do right now is just try to go for a first impression. But because he didn't go for first impression, he didn't go for Calm Mind, I decided not to go for first impression and instead just go for another Leech Life. So, and by the way, this Golisopod is choice banded, so I can only go for a certain move, predicting whatever he has. I keep going for Leech Life, which is fine. It seems to hit a lot of his team relatively well as well, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. So here, after doing a lot of damage to this Flygon, I decided to stay in because I still don't think it can do as much damage to put me in emergency exit range. But what he's going to do is actually U-turn and go into Vanillux. I think here, once again, I just keep going for Leech Lives because I see no reason not to. I'm actually doing a good chunk of damage to everything on his team, which is really good, because honestly, if any of these mons that he has, well, besides Vanillux and Mandibuzz, anything can set up, and as soon as it sets up, it can literally get going, and I don't want that. So I had to play this against this team offensively, basically. So here, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't go for Freeze Dry, like he wouldn't carry it, but he does, and unfortunately, this definitely puts me in emergency exit range. And even if he didn't have it, I mean, I still don't have switch into Blizzard anyway on this team, so I decided just to let him take a hit. Now that he puts me in emergency exit range, I am now forced to send in Lycanroc. Well, no, I send in Lycanroc because I have Excel Rock for the Vanillux. But what he's going to do actually is sack the Flygon instead, which allows me to basically take out the Flygon, which is good because that's one sweeper, potential sweeper out of the way. I don't know if it even was a design sweeper, or maybe it was a Scarfer or even Band User, because He didn't seem to ever go for Dragon Dance on this thing. But here we go. Or maybe because, like I said, I've been playing too offensively with this team that he hasn't had the opportunity to set up. He does try to set up here as I stay in on his switching the Fur Alligator, and the reason why I just stayed in and went for Stone Edge here was because of the Dragon Dance. I didn't want him to think I just switch out and then he gets a Dragon Dance up. I wanted to get the Stone Edge off, and thankfully I didn't miss this one because I needed that, because if I missed, this thing could have probably done me in already. So here, because I know I can outspeed now, I go for Excel Rock to take it out. It was definitely in range for me to take it out thanks to the fact that I'm a Life Orb Lycanroc, and Excel Rock is boosted by Tough Claw, so, and it's Stab on Lycanroc, so I was in a very good position right there as soon as I landed the Stone Edge. Now here he sends in this Necrozma. I don't know why I switched out here necessarily. I guess I was expecting maybe a Thunder Wave or something, and I didn't want him to hit me with it. I would have rather my Milotic take the hit, but this Necrozma seems to be an offensive set given the amount of damage it did to my Milotic here. Because this is a defensive one. Not a Spadef one, but it was still a defensive one, and I don't think Photon Geyser from defensive Necrozmas do that much damage. So this gives me the impression that it's maybe an offensive Necrozma with Stealth Rocks. Here I decided to sack Lycanroc because I didn't want to get two-shotted with my Milotic, because I needed my Milotic for the Snorlax, because the Snorlax can set up curses and I can just haze it with my Milotic, and I needed my Milotic to haze the Snorlax. So what I'm going to send in instead after sacking Lycanroc is Dhelmise, so I can go for the Rapid Spin because these rocks are actually pissing me off now. And he actually reveals Heat Wave, which is going to do quite an amount, but not enough to take out my Dhelmise, thankfully, because I'm Assault Vested. And I at least get the Rapid Spin. I get a crit with that Rapid Spin, which is kind of hilarious. Like, does Rapid Spin have a high critical hit ratio? Because I see a lot of Rapid Spin crits. It's ridiculous. I don't know. But anyways, this thing is just going to finish my Dhelmise with a Photon Geyser. And now here's where I get this free switch into Hoopa Confine. Now here, I was thinking he'll probably want to switch out, because I can hit it with Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball from Hoopa Confine is a ridiculously powerful move. I decided to go for a Nasty Plot here because I thought he would switch out, but he actually doesn't. Thankfully, he only went for Power Gem though, and it did not carry like something like Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse. I know he gets Dark Pulse, I don't know if he gets Shadow Ball, but I was glad he didn't go for anything super effective against my Hoopa Confined, because now after +2, I am able to hit this thing with a Shadow Ball even through Prism Armor, so that's actually pretty dang good. Now here he goes into my mom, which is, you're Finny. That's not how my mom looks. But anyways, he's gonna go into Snorlax and go for Earthquake. I tried to go for Focus Blast and I missed, which sucks because I could have probably had this thing either weakened or completely out of the way, and I need this thing out of the way. So I try to go for a Focus Blast, and I still miss. I'm going for a Focus Blast because that's literally the only move I can hit this thing with. The other attacking move I have on this Hoopa was Shadow Ball, which Snorlax is immune to because of its normal typing, so I had to go for Focus Blast, and the worst thing that happens in this part of the battle is that I miss both of them. So because of it, I lose Hoopa, and now what I have to do now is go into Golisopod, get a lot of HP back via Leech Life, and hopefully I can outspeed it, because I don't know if I can actually naturally outspeed a Snorlax, but I was able to here and get a lot of my HP back in the process. He now goes for Curse, so he just revealed to me that it's a cursing set. So what I'm going to do here is go for one more Leech Life. Reason being is because even though he went for a Curse, I'm still banded on this Golisopod, so it's as if he didn't get the Curse boost yet. And as you can see, it almost KOs it. It was just one hit away from KOing it, in all honesty. So, but what he's gonna do here is actually go for the Z move. And at first I was thinking, is this the Pulverizing Pancake? But as soon as I saw this particularly different animation, turns out that it's just a normal Breakneck Blitz, which gives me the impression that the move for it is actually either Return, Frustration, or even Body Slam. And the reason I think Body Slam is because it doesn't even KO me after +1 with this with the Z move. It puts me in emergency exit range, and I send out Goodra, because what I wanted to do with this Goodra was take it out with a Draco Meteor. Unfortunately, I missed that too, and now unfortunately because of this miss, here I'm gonna super speed up this video, because honestly, that miss now allowed this Snorlax to get a rest off, and now I have to like literally freaking find a way to get around this dang Snorlax, because let me tell you, this part of the battle I was just super angry that I missed not only 2 Focus Blasts but also a Draco Meteor. Like, seriously, this thing would have been out of the way sooner than I hoped, and now because of it, those misses, now this battle is going to drag on even longer because of the fact that I had to haze. Like, what I do with Goodra is switch it out, go into my Milotic, recover, and then haze this thing, because I don't want this thing to hit me so hard with frustration, which is a very powerful move on Snorlax. So I'm glad he got rid of his Z move. I go for Scald, get a crit, because I want to get this thing burned. I know it has rest, but if I can maybe put it in a position where he has to be forced to use rest, I can maybe send in Golisopod and just 2-hit KO it after hazing any stat boost that it has. Here, this portion of the battle is so 50-50ish, because what I'm doing is recovering, keeping my Milotic healthy, and also trying to keep an eye on when he's using curses, so that I can just go for hazes, and trying to see if I can find an open window so that I can just hard switch in the freaking Golisopod, and so I can just start attacking this thing, because that's the only way I can get around the Snorlax. But if he keeps cursing, I have to keep hazing, because I don't want it to get to the point where it hits my Milotic so hard that it's going to be put in range that if I try going for haze again, it'll take out my Milotic, and that's not what I want. So I keep going for haze every time I see the curse going up, and he keeps going for frustration, which is putting my Milotic in certain levels of HP. But I just keep going for recover. I just keep doing this because the plan here was initially just to PP stall his curses, because it seems like he seemed persistent to go for curses. So I was just like, okay, every time he goes for curse, I just keep going for haze. I have more PP on haze than he has on curse, so if I can get rid of all his curses, I don't have to worry about this thing setting up and sweeping me, because that's my biggest concern with the Snorlax, that it sets up and sweeps and it keeps recovering, and nothing on my team can just one-shot it, not even Golisopod. My only thing that can actually take this dang Snorlax out is Golisopod. Here, thankfully, he actually makes a hard switch, predicting me to go for haze again. At the same time, unfortunately, he managed to force me to go for haze at a point where my Milotic is actually very, very unhealthy. It takes hail damage and then burn damage, putting me almost at half. So here, what I'm going to do now is hard switch into Goodra. Reason being was because I kind of wanted to sack it just to get the first impression off with Golisopod. So, but here, what he ends up going for instead is Taunt. So, I don't know why he went for Taunt, because he could have self-freeze dried my Milotic. I was actually expecting that, in all honesty. But because he went for that, now my Goodra can get a free hit off. And what he's going to go into right now is his other Pokemon, Snorlax. Now here, I go for Sludge Wave because I knew I could finish it off the Vanillix if I happen to live a Freeze Dry or Blizzard. But here, he switches in Snorlax. It does quite an amount. It puts it over half, and with the hail damage, it's putting it even below half. So here, what I did now is to go for Draco Meteor again and hope for goodness sake it doesn't freaking miss. Because if there's one thing I don't want right now is this Snorlax to freaking set up. Now here, because like I said, Snorlax typically have good special defense, so he probably thought I was going to switch out, not wanting to try to attack it with Goodra, but I actually did, and as a result, he seems to have misplayed and actually went for Curse right there. Because what this does now is that after hail damage, it definitely puts it in range of another Sludge Wave to take it out. My taunt wore off for whatever it's worth, because honestly, this Goodra doesn't even have any setup moves or non-attacking moves for that matter. But yeah, I'm going to be able to take out this Snorlax with a Sludge Wave from Goodra. And now, unfortunately, he still has the Vanillix, which is definitely going to outspeed my Goodra, and not to mention can now switch his move up to Blizzard if it's choice. I don't think it's choice though, because who runs Choice Scarf or Choice Specs Taunt? But yeah, here he's gonna go for Blizzard. It is gonna outspeed my Goodra, unfortunately, because I don't think this Goodra speed invested. So it does take it out because it's a Blizzard, by the way, not Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry I might have been able to live it, but Blizzard no. So here I go into Golisopod. I'm glad I got rid of the rocks with Delmice here, because if I didn't have this thing, I might have actually lost to this thing. Because what this Golisopod does is actually finally use the first impression. It's crazy how throughout this battle, I never actually used the first impression until this very last turn of the battle. And it came really in handy because I needed something to outspeed the what's it called? The Vanillix. And since my Lycanroc went down, this Golisopod was literally the last thing I needed for that Vanillix. So yeah, damn, that's gonna be the whole game. And whew, thank goodness I freaking won that battle. I would have been super sad if I actually lost this battle, because I could have had this battle won had these misses not occurred on Hoopa Confine and the Goodra. Like, if there's one Pokemon that I should not be missing any moves on, is freaking Snorlax, because that Snorlax is super fat and super powerful when it sets up and has all kinds of recovery and is fat enough to take hits with its recovery, basically. So I'm actually glad. Like, I had to, like, I honestly was just this was one of those battles where I just could not resign myself to lose, and I was thankful that I actually managed to bring it back, because I thought I was literally just gonna lose because of the RNG again. I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, the battle was in fact close because of the RNG anyway. But nonetheless, this was a good battle, so good game to you, Khaz. Thank you for the battle. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next battle. But for now, I'll catch you guys next time.